What's going on, everybody? I'm Guy, this is Idlewave, and today I'm going to walk you through the song Wild Eyes. I'm excited to show you this one because this is like the first song that I've actually mixed and produced and mastered and played everything on entirely by myself. Did have a little bit of help from some friends, but don't worry, I'm going to acknowledge that at a later point in this video. But thanks for coming on the journey with me. And if you've heard the song, thank you so much for being interested enough to watch this video. And I'm very excited to dive in. So I started working on this song in August of 2023, August or September. And I have just notes and different renditions and going through the whole motions of making this thing happen. Pretty much starting with the just acoustic recording. Everything, there's a lot of hidden tracks in here I'm noticing, but I do have this scratch track. So I actually really like the way that sounds. That's just me in the bedroom, probably through the mic, and I was just trying to get a feel for it because, you don't know what tempo you're going to be at. And when I'm writing something versus when I'm recording something, I'm kind of writing it very free. And in a lot of my phone demos, maybe things aren't to a grid, they won't line up exactly, or maybe the chorus will change a couple BPMs in the verse just because of you're naturally feeling it out and you're focusing on all these things, like, does this melody work, trying new things out. But for this one, kind of like really settling in with a scratch that was to the click. And also, I've talked about this before, I don't love playing to clicks too much with just acoustic guitar. So I have, it's hidden somewhere, but I do have a drummer track. I hope I could find it that I could play along with. I might have straight up deleted it, but I did have a drummer track. Just kind of helped me out with the feel a little better than playing an acoustic guitar to a click. So for those of you that are interested in recording or just starting to get into recording, if you're having trouble playing with a click track, no shame. There is definitely finding a drummer to that BPM, the drummer track, or like a sample to play along with. Sometimes it's just, as a musician, it's easier to feel something rather than just relying on the click. I am working on my click skills. Just I want to be sharp as a tack with it, but do what you can in the moment, especially for this. It's kind of the similar deal as some singers like to sing with pitch correction going on in their headphones, which I do sometimes. I don't know if I did it for this song, but it's a good trick because it helps you kind of just get better with where the pitches lay, and especially if you're tracking harmonies, and just those intervals slide a lot cleaner with it. But so the song I knew was going to be acoustic guitar, and I wanted to build things over it. I was very influenced by Phoebe Bridgers' Punisher, of just it's not a full band track, but it's also just not acoustic. There's kind of other elements going on. So we have, for example, here's some string sound that's really cool. And then I have this bass going on. This guy's pretty neat. What is he? Oh, so this pad. And then, so the pad's kind of sustaining while I have this whirly going on. And then there's acoustic guitar. I love the way this acoustic came out. Just kind of putting things together. Get a nice full sound. And then I do want to talk about these strings which are this like it's just very fun. Like I wanted some kind of emotional movement with, because I'm making this very sonically satisfying structure, but also there's got to be movement to it. There's got to be some kind of thing pushing it, just to differentiate and kind of lead you into the next part. I'm obsessed with dynamics. I always have been. And they almost sound very staccato and dry because I'm playing them on like a little synth. These aren't real strings by any means. I didn't even want like a real string sound. I just wanted something that these guys, they got some J37 on them and sample delay, and like they probably sound pretty nasty dry. I'm not gonna lie. Like just like yeah, this is weird. Like I don't like this, but like that a lot of just the reverb cleans it up and makes it sound more full. And this with the rest of the section is just like I also have this is very interesting because you can't hear it really you got to listen real hard in the track. So I have the Wurlitzer taking over this lead, and underneath that I have these wah pedal guitar panned. And they're almost completely buried just to give it this whole, like, it really helps the dynamics of everything shine when you put it all together. It's a big learning experience I was going through in making this song. I could show you in notes of just me kind of learning general mixing things, and there's like in my notes I have like compression and just sample patterns and all this. Maybe things should be in halftime, how a de-esser works, just cleaning up stuff, importance of a static mix, whole 9 yards, just testing out in your car what changed, like finding a bunch of stuff out. And through the whole process of learning to mix, one of the things that really resonated with me was instead of hearing an adjustment, feeling an adjustment. And I think those wah pedal guitar, just like nonsense melodies under the Wurlitzer, it's not something you could automatically hear, but I think it helps the body of the Wurlitzer really cut through, because it's supposed to lay on top of all this stuff going on. All that, like the strings are way higher than it. Like the melody is very mid-rangey, and the guitar is also really bright. So just getting that to sit, not like pierce through, but just to sit. And at first, like in my speakers, it was tough. It was hard to get that right. And then I had it panned to one side when I started mixing it. Another fun fact, I had J37 on pretty much everything. J37 is a wonderful tape saturator by Waves, and it rules, and it gives everything a nice, like, analog-y, saturated vibe to it, which is cool when you're stacking all these things. But it also has this cumbersome noise meter, which is on for here, but when I mixing the track, one of my first mixes, everything had J37 on it, and this noise meter was at 12 o'clock. I listened to it in my car. I thought my car was going to explode. There was this loud hiss going through everything. And I was like, what happened? I'm immediately on Reddit, just like when I get home, like, what the hell is going on? And a lot of people were like, is there a Waves plugin? I'm like, why? And then I saw this noise meter, and as soon as I cut all that down off everything, just instant clarity. Now, you can absolutely, people chase this sound. Like you can absolutely like crank the noise meter, use it like to taste if you're trying to make something sound like a lo-fi hip hop track, or get drums to breathe a little more, vocals, like it adds a lot of character to it. Definitely like there is a place for it, but when I had it on everything, just kind of going through the static and the hiss was louder than the music, and definitely not something I'm trying to do again. But found that to be a very fun tidbit to share with y'all. The acoustic guitar, I'm very proud of these takes. Just like nothing too much on it. And then halfway through the verse, as a writing device, added the second one. Playing the same chords, but just like giving it a little more body, which ended up helping a lot. And then that disappears. Oh no, it goes through the whole way. Oh no, it does disappear for the room mic part. So I'm just jumping around. Okay, I'm just trying to see what like interests me and kind of going off that. But there is this weird sound that I played with a lot, which was definitely my guitar. I forget if I hit a chord or something. Let me see if I can hear the clean version of this. But this was pretty much... So there's an effect in Logic where it kind of makes like a backwards, like a reverse tape sound of whatever you played. And I must have played like an A chord or the root chord. I'm trying to remember. Yeah, that's it. And then it kind of does its own thing, but with all these, I think I had everything on it but this, then it might end up being too crazy. It kind of gives this like swelly, like, which I really dug in the context of the mix, because I wanted something to open up that chorus without just bringing one of the instruments in. I felt like I wanted the chorus to be a wall of sound and stay that way, not have something leading in and then it turns into that. So by having this little thing here, it just helps kind of roll right into it. For the chorus, I knew I wanted to change the chord progression. I don't have many songs that start on the second or the minor chord, where it goes from that to the root, and then it ends the line on that as well, and then moves up a whole step. And I was like, at first I was like, there's no way this is gonna work in key, and then it did. I was like, oh cool. I came like, whenever you get the chance to challenge yourself with a chord progression, I mean, most things, they fall into place. 1, 5, 4, whatever you want to do, just 1 to 4. These motions, they'll always work. But sometimes, especially with me, I'm trying to push like where my writing can go. This is a very nice, oh, I tried this chord and it works. That's awesome. So then I think I tracked this before I tracked Emery, which was just a room mic situation. And I really wanted the vibe of just me sitting on the bed, kind of like yelling at the mic with the acoustic guitar. And I don't even need to solo this. Wherever you go, I'll be there, chasing home. I always wanted something that sounded kind of struggling and rough. To advance the meaning of the first verse, I wanted it to be like, the first verse is very clean and upfront, and I mean, these vocals, I really did. You could see there's like verse 1 take 6, verse 1 dub, falsettos, harmonies, like there's a good amount of vocals going on right here. Wherever you go, very breathy, but like in the context, it works being very sweet and upfront. What separated this from a demo for me was in the demos you want the vocals to sit well, feel right, get a good take, and then double that. And then, you have this mentality when you're doing a demo, you're like, I'm not gonna spend 8 hours on the vocals because like it's a demo, like whatever. But when I retrack vocals, it'll mean something more to me. So I was writing this song in the same time that I was recording it. This was all in real time of like had the idea, tracked the scratch, put a drum beat to it, tracked full through acoustic, started throwing stuff on it, did vocals. And with the vocals, I just shifted gears. I was like, let's get the phrase feeling. I tracked a couple, like 6 or 7 different versions. And I'm going to see if they're still here. They might be, I don't know. And just like played with it. I had a bunch of vocal ideas and just tried them all. And then it was like when you pick the best one, it's like, okay, I'm going to double that now. And then the doubles and the harmonies all follow this thing. I think it was my 6th like take of vocals out of like 7 or 8. My point is giving it that time really helped, especially because I'm writing these phrases and everything kind of on the spot, and really paying attention and really like this, like whether this sounds better or this vibes better, kind of finding a strong middle ground and sticking to it. And that, when you have that tone set, everything else falls together, and that decisiveness just comes together, and it's very cool. It sounded beautiful while I was tracking it, which was nice. I had a feeling, I was like let's get this chorus right because the verse sounds really good. Let's get this bridge good, like everything. And that leads us to the bridge because we went over the verse and the chorus and that post-chorus hook. And now the bridge, we kind of slide a minor chord back down and get held out on this beautiful D chord. And then I just started jamming on that chord progression. I just kept it going, just kept going along in the original acoustic take of just those 3 chords over and over again, and then ended it whenever I did. No rhyme or reason to it, however many bars I wasn't counting or whatever. And then I was like, all right, well, I need this. Definitely that melody needs to come back in. We got these, there's some cool shaker going on in the back. And I had some friends over like the following weekend, and we tracked just like talking, and like that's all in there. I'm trying to find, where's the room talking and all that stuff. But pretty much had, it's these guys. So super buried, but just all character. So when you walk into Cracker Barrel, first of all, like all pitched and everything. I don't remember what we were talking about. And then, so there's 4 of these. And then started playing with splice samples. And I knew from the start I didn't want a drum kit. I didn't want like a groove, because I liked the groove that was going on in the song. But I showed a friend of mine the like rough of this in his car, and he was like, oh, there's no like drums. Like it's a long song for there to be no drums to. So I was like, yeah, I'll figure something out. And of course, just a nice little kick snare pattern with a bunch of effect on it. I could listen to this all day. This rules. I got a bunch of stuff going on this kick drum. I got this is very dry. Just this little like I don't even know if that's an electronic kick or like trying to be an acoustic kick, but cleaning up some EQ and throwing a delay on it and compressing it. Also having the delay before the compressor is an interesting choice looking back on this, but I really like the way it set. Kick drum sat right away. The snare was a little more this guy, he's got some more stuff going on. Yeah, that's brutal. That's rough. Yeah, big ups to the Logic Distortion. I saw a lot of tutorials of people putting it on their drums, and very user friendly, and like really gave it that saturation. Like just like this oversaturated combo of these two went a long way. I got that room mic still going on, the acoustic and the double, and then just hodgepodge of throwing everything back in together. Getting this to sit together was pretty easy too, obviously, because all the parts worked out in the post-chorus. So getting this going again just kind of did its thing. But yeah, I don't know what else there is to say on Wild Eyes. I'm incredibly proud of this song. I mean, it took, you could even see in my dates, there's notes that are like September 20th notes, December 4th notes. A lot of stuff in between that too, probably written on different pages. Mix 2, my notes. Car listen and mix 4, my notes. Just like, you know, kind of experimenting with a lot of things on how to mix this. How does compression work? How does delay and reverb work? And like, it was a really fun journey. There's a lot of awesome resources out there. And the whole time I had this nice lack of pressure on me. I obviously wanted to get it done, but within reason, I wanted it to sound good. I know a lot of people have a hard time finding this middle ground of creating something, but for me, this was one of my first things putting out. So the entire time I was like, you know what, I'll make it sound as good as I can. If it's totally horrible, then that'll be the first thing I made, and I'll learn from it. Because I don't want to sit on this forever. Like, I want to just, like, this song means a lot to me, and if I can get it out ASAP, I'd like to do that. And I'm very fortunate with just like a lot of YouTube help and a lot of TikTok help and friends around, always giving advice. And it's a nice, friendly world if you want to start making music. And I could tell you, if I could do this, you could totally put something sick together. Kind of just like using this as a roadmap for learning. And yeah, like I was always scared of working with drum sounds or getting vocals to sound really nice, but you do your thing, and again, like good takes will take you a long way. But thank you again so much for checking out Wild Eyes and subscribing to the channel. Whether you found out about Idlewave through TikTok or Spotify or coming to see us live a couple years ago, I'm super stoked you're here, and hope you have a good one.